All right. Well, good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of our Secret Path Week event. As we gather today, we're reminded that throughout Canada, we are situated on Indigenous lands, both ceded treaty and unceded land. This land is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people today. As a country, we have a responsibility for the stewardship of the land on which we live and work. So today I acknowledge the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Neutral people on whose territory I am broadcasting from today. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be host for today. I run an organization called Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you haven't visited us before, we bring science, exploration, adventure, and conservation live to classrooms across North America through virtual guest speakers and field trips. If you head over to the website, you can see 40, 50, even 60 live events a month that your classrooms can join in too. So this is our 3rd year collaborating with the Gord Downie and Chanie Wenjack Fund to bring Indigenous leaders, artists, and scientists live to classrooms across Canada. We've got an incredible week in store consisting of 20 live events, including musical performances, language lessons, storytelling, and so much more. The Gord Downie and Chanie Wenjack Fund is part of musician Gord Downie's legacy and embodies his commitment and that of both the Downie and Wenjack families to build cultural understanding and create a path towards reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. So the goal of the Gord Downie and Chanie Wenjack Fund is to continue the conversation that began with Chanie Wenjack's residential school story and to support the reconciliation process through awareness, education, and action. So many of the classrooms joining us today are already legacy schools or legacy classrooms. If your classroom is not, you can do something and become a legacy school. So the Legacy Schools program is a free national initiative to engage, empower, and connect students and educators to further reconciliation through awareness, education, and action. So I'll pop a link up there now. You can take a look later at downeywenjack.ca and find all the information that you need. Well, we're in for a real treat today, a little live music action. We're connecting with Morgan Toney, who is a 22-year-old Mi'kmaq singer, songwriter, and fiddler. Growing up, Morgan started his musical journey as a drummer and later realized he was in love with Cape Breton fiddle music and the different styles that can be heard on the island. So he made that his #1 priority to learn it. His debut album, First Flight, focused on Mi'kmaq songs as well as fiddle tunes, most of them being compositions of his own. We're also joined today by Keith Mullins. He's a musician, a producer, and a father of 4. I'm going to bring them in live to the event now, and let's see how they're doing. Hey, guys. How are we doing today?
Hey, great.
Hey, guys.
All right. Well, great to have you joining us live. We've got a great group of classrooms from across Canada joining us today. British Columbia, Manitoba, Ontario. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit, and then I know the classroom is going to have tons of questions, so they'll be ready to fire some away in a bit.
Nice. Well, thanks for having me, guys. My name is Morgan Toney.
And I'm Keith Mullins.
And we are
Morgan Toney.
So where we come from, we're in Cape Breton Island, which is in it's an island in Nova Scotia.
East Coast, Canada.
East Coast. And I'm from a Mi'kmaq community 5 minutes away from where we are, called Wagmatcook First Nation. Right now we're in Bedeck, Nova Scotia, at Keith's home studio.
Yeah, it's called Barnbrea Studios. We live across the water from the Alexander Graham Bell estate. If you don't know who Alexander Graham Bell is, he invented the telephone. So he's actually buried just on the hill, right across the water, up here.
And we are so happy to be here performing for you. We heard there's a lot of classrooms here today, and hopefully we get to meet each other virtually as the show goes on. So a little bit about us. We are the creators of a genre called Mi'kmaq. And Mi'kmaq is the blend of Mi'kmaq songs and Celtic music. So we put them both together and we came up with Mi'kmaq. So what we're going to cover first is a song that has been played here for 500 years in Nova Scotia. We call this Unama'ki, and that translates to Nova Scotia. So before the arrivals, of the settlers, there were songs played, and I'm going to play you a song, and this is the instrument that we used, and this here is called a jigmahan. and it's just birch bark split, and that is our percussion instrument. We didn't have guitars or fiddles or anything like that. This is what we use. We took things from our everyday lives and made it into instruments, and this is an example of early instruments. It's called jigamahan. So I want to play you a song, and then I'll show you what it sounds like. This is called the Gojua, and it's a social song that has been played here, like I said, for 500 years. And this is what it would have sounded like 500 years ago. Gojua, 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 Gedua, 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 Gojua, 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 Gedua, 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 Gojua. That's the Gojua. That's Jigamahan.
Then we put a little almost Cape Breton spin on it.
Yeah.
You know? It goes like this. 2, 3.
Now we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Oh, we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Now we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Oh, we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Now to test it all, these were stereo. 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 Go to what now? Go to what? Go to what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Go to what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Oh, we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Now we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Oh, we got jeans and testaments and super jeans. Now to test it all, keys were stepping out. 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 Go to what? Go to what? Go to what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Go to what? Go to what? Go to what? Go to what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Get what? Go to what? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. I just got to tune it up a little bit there.
I'm enjoying it. What songs did you want to do next for them?
It's no mind.
Didn't you? this next tune is called Imsit Nogama. And this is the first tune that Morgan and I wrote together. And we wrote it was inspired by the Great Spirit prayer, right?
That's correct.
And I had asked Morgan, I said, what's a term that's that's used in your culture a lot, a phrase that you hear a lot, that has importance, And Morgan right away said, Imsit Nogama. And so this is what we wrote.
Your tuner put me out of tune.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It seemed like it was perfect when you used mine.
Right? This one. To the Great Spirit, forgotten to walk in harmony, conquer our enemies, the greatest ones of you see. Let my soul take in the beauty of the day and the sun going down. So when my life is at its end, I may leave with this message to send. Him sitting over my all the life, the trees, the end. Him sitting over my. This is how we end our prayer. Him sitting over my all the life, the trees, the end. Him sitting over my. This is how we end our prayer. Wish you the very best in everything. Him sitting Nogama for all the life, the trees, the end. Him sitting Nogama. This is how we end our prayer. Him sitting Nogama for all the life, the trees, the end. Him sitting Nogama. This is how we end our prayer. Way high, way high, way high, way high, way high.
Thank you. Which one you want to do next?
It's a water song.
Okay, sure.
So, there's a lot of Mi'kmaq songs in our repertoire, but the most important one would be the Mi'kmaq honor song. So, you know how you stand for the, what do you call it? Canadian National Anthem? You know, we stand, remove our hats. But this is almost treated the same way, because this song you know, it honors who we are as Mi'kmaq people, and it honors how we should treat each other and how we should live, you know, in harmony with ourselves, with the people around us, including you. So we're sharing this moment together, and I'm really happy we're doing that right now. So this is about that. This is the Mi'kmaq honor song.
Two, three.
It's
really nice to hear you guys clapping.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's that?
For the elders?
Or let's do the play that Red River.
Red River?
Yeah. They're gonna wind up for this one.
Yeah, you guys will like this one. So this next one is called the Red River Sony. And so when I bought this fiddle a couple months ago from my friend up in Alberta, his name is Alex Sturrock. I don't know if that's a name you guys are familiar with, but I bought this off him. And as a bonus, he sent me a song for me to learn. And it's called the Red River Jig. And it's really, 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 really fast. More fast. It's a whole lot quicker than the songs that are played down here. So it was a challenge to learn it. But, you know, I love challenges. And Keith knows that. Like, I have to challenge myself. And I said this will be a perfect tune to put on the album because it's different. Nobody here in Cape Breton has heard that before. But I also put in...
And where does the Red River tune come from?
It comes from, I don't know where it comes from.
It's
a traditional tune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's mostly played down in the Manitoba area.
But there's an Inuit sound to it, right? Like the hoedown.
Right. You know, it's
got that kind of feel to it.
Step dances.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And then the next tune after that is called Sony Breakdown. And that was a tune written by Simon Cremo. And there's a fiddler that is well known down here by the name of Lee Cremo. He passed away a couple years back, but his father is the one that made this tune. So we put them together to, you know, create that bridge from Cold Lake, Alberta to Eskasoni. And this is called Red River to Eskasoni.
You ready?
I hope so.
You got this? So does anyone have any questions?
All right. Well, guys, that was awesome. Thanks so much. That was great.
Thanks, Joe.
I want to bring in this first class, right? Oh, where did they go? There they are. I want to bring in our kindergartners here. We have some kindergartners joining us today, and they were rocking out. They were loving every minute
All
of
right.
that music, dancing and having fun. So I think that's a good spot to start. Oh, we're gonna get a little feedback because I think they have two devices connected, but that's okay. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
That's why. Okay, Juliana. Why did you change from fiddle to drums?
Why did you change to fiddle to drums?
I went from drums to fiddle when I found out that my great grandfather played the fiddle, and I found out that my three of my late great uncles played the fiddle, and I thought, you know what, it would be so cool to, make sure that their legacy lives on, and that I can do what they did back then, because nobody heard fiddle in my community for a long time. So I was the first of a few to pick up the fiddle.
Plus, when you got started, you were addicted.
Right.
All right, great question from our kindergarten crew. Let's see, they're still by the cameras. Let's see if they maybe have one more they want to squeeze in before we jump to another class. You guys have another question?
How did you learn how to play the fiddle?
How did I learn how to play the fiddle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned through my university. I go to school now, and there's a teacher there. His name is Kyle. He taught me how to play the fiddle, and it took me a very long time to learn how to play the fiddle how I play today. It's a lot of hard work. I spend 3 to 4 hours a day, working on my songs or learning new stuff, and I love it. Practice is everything.
All right, let's pop another classroom in here. Miss Burns' class is joining us from Milton, Ontario. Here they are. How are we doing, everyone?
Hi.
Hey there.
What did the words in the first song mean?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
That's the best question ever. We don't know. The song is so old, and our language has evolved from 500 years ago. But it's really interesting because there are some elders out today that kind of have a feeling what the words mean because of how the word is structured out. But to this day, we don't know. And there's a lot of Mi'kmaq songs like that.
And they think it means it's about a dog or a rabbit with a broken foot. We've heard both.
Right.
And the dance, the Gojwa dance, like if you check out Morgan's YouTube video for the Gojwa, it's Kojua, you can see there's professional Gojwa dancers, and you can see that they're kind of dancing the way that they're dancing. It's almost like their foot has a little bit of a limp to it, and I think there's some relation there, huh?
Yeah,
from the dance to the words, and that's part of the reason why they know what it means.
All right, very cool. We're going to jump to the other side of the country now. We've got some grade 7s hanging out in British Columbia. Miss O's class, I'm going to bring them in.
Hey.
Hi, I have a question for both of you. Who's your favorite music artist?
Oh, mine is Morgan Toney.
Oh, it's 1 second. I got to think.
No, I mean, he is one of my favorite artists, but I mean, I personally, I listen to a lot of different music, any kind of music. I love pop music. I love African music. I love Indian music, rap. I do it all, and I just love music. And I love. My favorite thing is to play with other people live and engage with people like yourselves through music, and that seems to be what I'm best at. So that's where my heart is.
I would say my heart is probably the same. Being musicians, we like to explore creativity. So we listen to different artists and kind of get a feel. And, me and Keith, we just appreciate all music. So like we listen to, like what he said, we listen to rap, R&B, rock, pop, funk.
Yeah, if we're on the way to a gig, the playlist is like everything
Right.
from around
We
the
don't-
world.
We don't know where it's going.
Yeah, and we're constantly, and that's the thing is that when you listen to and you learn from other cultures musically or any sort of way, you listen to what they're doing and how they're doing it. There's so much to learn from them, musically or life wise.
All right, very cool. We have some third graders hanging out with us with Miss Scaini. They are in, I think it's Brampton. I'm just going to double check here. Yeah, Brampton, Ontario. Let's bring them in. Hey, Miss Scaini, how are you?
Hey there, pretty good. Teaching online with my class, so I wish you could see that my kids were like dancing along and grooving with your music.
Awesome.
So miigwech. Want to ask, I guess we were trying to figure out how you decide on the names for your songs, because we noticed that I guess like you did a song that was like just straight instrumental, and then you have songs that you have lyrics to, and we had watched a couple of your videos, so kind of curious about that.
It's really fun. With the fiddle sets, we can have a lot of fun with them. But one that we never got to do was is what I do with the fiddle stuff. I like to compose my own fiddle music. I like making my own. But if you looked at my repertoire, you would notice that none of the fiddle tunes I don't relate to anything that I do at all. I always make a song for other people. That's what I do, and I try to give what I have out to the world and to my communities. Like if someone's having a tough time, I make a song for them or to a family member, and the song comes more naturally, I would say.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told
So
you.
you dedicate, like he'll dedicate a song to somebody and then write it.
Right. I have to be motivated, and that's the only motivation I can get. Thinking about someone is all right. This song's going to them. And then all of my thoughts is just going through my fingers, and that's how I like to look at things. And and
what about lyrically? Yeah,
lyrically, I think it's pretty much straightforward. Gojwa on the record is Gojwa. I don't think we have anything like.
we modernized them
Right.
to kind of fit our style and our vision for what Morgan's music should sound like.
Right. Has a lot to do with the Great Spirit Prayer too.
Yeah.
Instant
In
Nova.
your culture, your background, where you come from, your respect for your elders, all your elders' teachings, I think all the songs that we write together for Morgan are inspired by his background.
All right, very cool. We've got a class joining us in Spruce Grove, Alberta. And they sent me a question here via the chat, and they'd like to know a bit more about the community that you grew up in and your experience. What was it like in school?
Oh, this is gonna be great. Actually, I grew up in two communities. The first one I grew up was Wagmatcook First Nation, which is 15 minutes away from where I live now. Not to get it confused with those two locations, but when I was 15, I moved to another community, which I now call my home. It's in Wagmatcook First Nation. And that's where things started to kick off for me. And because the school was so involved with spiritual teachings, we do a thing called smudging. It's when we light all the 4 sacred medicines in a shell, and we cleanse ourselves with that to get rid of negative energies and all that. But also we do pray. We pray every morning at school. We do the Lord's Prayer, but in our own language, Mi'kmaq. We sing the Mi'kmaq honor song. And all that stuff got exposed to me when I went to that school. And I just fell in love with my culture. I fell in love with the songs, the language, the prayers, all that. And the elders' teachings. Elders are so involved in our school. They come to our school every day. And we do talking circles, once a week.
I feel like we should play Alice Unama'ki. Do we have time to play another song for you guys?
Absolutely, we'd love that.
Okay. This is that was a good intro for this tune.
Alice. So the importance of prayer, it's big in our Mi'kmaq communities. It's big across our Mi'kmaq nation, across Canada. And Alice Unama'ki is the name of this next song that we're going to play, a surprise tune. And Alice Unama'ki means to pray. Say it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Niskamita, Al-Sudama. Niskamita, Al-Sudama. Oh, great spirit, give me strength to face the things unknown. Only you can see what lies ahead of me tomorrow. I will listen and the wind as I walk through the land, 'cause I know your words speak the greater plan. This can be done. Oh, great spirit, I am small and I am weak. Let me see the lessons that you revealed to me. I will listen in the wind as I walk through the land, 'cause I know your words speak the greater plan. This can be done. Al-Sudama. 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 That is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. Great answer. So I think we can squeeze in a couple more questions. So if Miss Burns' class or Miss Skeeny's class have another question, give me a wave and I can come back your way. I've also got a couple more questions here via YouTube. Let's start with our third graders.
Hey there. Actually, this was kind of interesting. They noticed something that you were doing, I guess, earlier in the show. You were tuning your instrument, and they were trying to figure out how you were doing it and why.
Well, I use my phone to tune the instruments, and when you tune the instruments, it sounds a whole lot better if I'm not tuned.
Yeah. There's the apps on the iPhone are just as good as any tuner.
Right.
And show them the tuning pegs. So there's two ways to tune a fiddle. You can tune from the top or the bottom. The strings are G, D, A, E. In Cape Breton, G'day.
G, D, A, E.
Yeah.
We got the tuning pegs there. And we also have these little things at the bottom. Helps it tune it as well. That's more quicker.
I got a question for you guys. Oh, careful. Do you guys know the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
All right, let's put a class under pressure here. Anybody know here, have an idea the difference between a fiddle or a violin?
No.
No?
No guesses?
You can't spill beer on a violin. They're the same. They're the same thing, really. but fiddle is played in a more loose kind of environment, whereas a violin would be a more classical instrument.
All right. Well, Miss Anderson's crew, they're grade 5s in Courtney, British Columbia, and they want to know, how long does it take to learn a new song?
It all depends, really. Like, we can get a song done in a couple of hours, but we just have to, when we come in the studio, we have to know where our heart is, I would say.
Yeah.
And it has to do a lot with, issues that are going on right now in the Mi'kmaq community, in the Mi'kmaq Nation. Songs, topics like that are more quicker to make, but it's all where our heart is. And, we can get a song done in a day. It might take us a few days, a few weeks. It all depends.
We kind of tune it up.
We tune it up.
We tighten it up here.
So,
and
like,
there.
the first day we come in, we get an idea. The next time we come in, which is probably like a week from the last meeting, we just
we've been thinking about it and practicing it a little bit, and
maybe 2.5 weeks, I would say. I don't think it goes longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And, COVID has obviously affected live performances. Have you been able to get out again the last little while to do some more live performances, or are you sticking to virtual still?
We've been in Nova Scotia. We've been busy. We've been playing a lot of shows over the summer, a lot of festivals and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. And one more question we'll squeeze in here from Madame Roy's 5th graders. So we saw some guitar action, some fiddle action. Are there other instruments that you can play?
Drums and fiddle for me. What about you, Keith?
Yeah, I'm from a musical family and in Cape Breton, and I studied in. I have a degree in classical music, but I studied in West Africa, and I lived in Cuba for 4 months and studied there and toured with Cuban bands. So I play like all the regular like band instruments.
All right.
Drums, bass, guitar, piano, harmonica, all that stuff.
Well, our 5th graders added a second message. They want you to know they're from Calgary, Alberta. That's where Madame Roy's class was hanging out with us today. So very cool. I want to start off with a huge shout out to our YouTube classrooms, our classrooms who joined us from across Canada, Ontario, British Columbia, Manitoba, Alberta. Thanks so much for sending in those great questions. Our camera classrooms were great today. Thank you for those great questions. It was great to watch our kindergartners who are tuning in, rocking out to all of the great music. And Morgan and Keith, what a pleasure to have you joining us today, joining us during day 2 of our Secret Path Week events. Just incredible music. It was, there's the kindergartners. Let's pop them back in. There they are.
Hey-o.
And it's Nash crew. Yeah, what a pleasure. Absolutely amazing music. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today, sharing some of the stories and some of the meanings behind it as well.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off for today. Lots coming up tomorrow. I'll share that link one more time here. There we go. exploringbythesea.com and look Secret Path Week under special events to find all the events that are coming up. Again, Morgan and Keith, what a treat. Many classrooms are starting to log off for the end of their day. So it's just a great way to send them home with a little music. I'm sure they've got a little skip in their step as they're heading home.
Right on.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the night.